Welcome to our International Expeditions webinar. We're here to preview our 2018 Amazon voyage. And I'd like to start by turning it over to the first of our two presenters this evening. This is Emily Harley. Emily, welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Lee, and thank you to everyone who's joining us tonight. My name is Emily. I work with International Expeditions Marketing, but also our conservation projects. And I'm joined on the line tonight by Tara Ellison, who's International Expeditions Director of Operations and a veteran of 20 trips to the Amazon. So you are definitely in great hands as she answers questions for you this evening. Even though we're going to be talking primarily about the Amazon tonight, I do want to make sure you know just a little bit more about International Expeditions. It's been our mission for almost 40 years to ensure that we're inspiring travelers, taking them to the furthest reaches of the earth, using IE's expedition leaders alongside local naturalist guides. Our journeys really look to bridge nature, wildlife, culture, and of course the food too, for a really complete look at the incredible ecosystems and wilderness of more than 20 different countries. And of course, when you travel with International Expeditions, you're going to enjoy a very inclusive expedition. Your accommodations, your excursions, English-speaking guides, transfers, nearly all of your meals, and of course, we also try to include some tips. As I said, right now we offer adventures in 20 countries, not only escorted small group programs, like we'll be talking about in the Amazon, but also private arrangements so that we can really make sure that you have an opportunity to see the world your way. So of course, how do we help do that? Well, IE offers a variety of ways to travel. What we'll be focusing tonight on is our small ship Amazon voyage, but we also offer small ships navigating the rivers and the oceans of some of the world's most incredible waters. Cuba, the Brahmaputra River in India, and the Galapagos Islands are just a few of the places that we go in select voyages aboard incredible vessels with fabulous amenities. We also make sure that we offer a great variety of experiences for multi-generational travelers that are designed to help your whole family create lasting memories while you explore nature, meet local people, and also learn along the way. Of course, for those of you looking to go a little bit further afield, we do offer a variety of safaris. Specializing in observing the big game of the nature reserves and private concessions that you find in East Africa and Southern Africa, even in places like Namibia, Botswana, not just in more standard places that you think of safaris like East Africa. Of course, most of International Expeditions journeys have a bit of a active component, whether it's nature walks or escorted kayaking options. But if you're looking for a more elevated option, we also have active adventures for that, whether it's rappelling down waterfalls in Costa Rica or hiking on a glacier in Iceland in the winter. We really do try to give you a variety of ways to explore. And of course, we haven't forgotten about foodies. So as I said before, we recognize that food and local dishes are a great part of the experience and how you really learn more about a destination through the food, the wine. With our Amazon voyage, you actually get to take cooking classes, and then we have specialized voyages and destinations that combine the wild and wildlife of places like Argentina and Chile. So that's just a really quick look at how International Expeditions helps you explore. But what we really want to do is delve into our flagship program, which is the Amazon voyage. Now, of course, the very first thing most people think about when they hear the Amazon is Brazil, right? But International Expeditions has spent more than 38 years in the Peruvian Amazon. We're in the Peruvian Amazon for a variety of reasons, but primarily because it's less developed than the Brazilian part of the Amazon. So this allows you to see more wildlife, to get a more authentic look at life along the river. And we think it just really enhances your overall experience. So as we move into the Amazon for 2018, we're here to talk about the new boat that International Expeditions is chartering, but it's also important to think about what's not changing in this award-winning experience. With International Expeditions, you're still going to be traveling about 600 miles on the Amazon River and its tributaries, deep into the heart of the Pacaya-Samiria Reserve, which is actually the world's largest protected wetland reserve. To the right, you'll see just a little bit of an itinerary in brief. You'll fly into Lima, Peru, and then fly over the Andes Mountains to Iquitos. From Iquitos, you'll board the Zafiro and spend 7 nights navigating these rivers and tributaries before returning to Lima and then returning on to home. So let's, one of the very first questions that we get most frequently is, what's the best time to go to the Amazon? What's the rainy season? Is there one part of the year that's better than the other? And what we find in the Amazon is that you don't have a rainy season. It's the rainforest. So it rains, oh gosh, I think the last count was about 320 or more days out of the year. What you do find, though, is a fluctuation between high water and low water seasons. And if you've been to the Amazon before, you may have seen these marks on the trees where the water can fluctuate as much as 40 feet over the course of a year. And now I will say there's no bad time to go to the Amazon. I've been in multiple seasons, but the activities can be a little bit different. If you really want to get into creeks and tributaries that go deep into the rainforest, look at going during the high water season. Because the floodwaters have spread outside the riverbanks, you could be traveling down a creek that didn't exist 2 months ago. And this is a fantastic way, like I said, to go deeper into the rainforest where you'll see wildlife that may not be along the main course of the tributaries. If you're looking for more opportunities to hike, definitely try the low water season. As those waters recede, it gives you more dry land and, of course, naturally more options for hiking. But regardless of the time of the year you go, you'll see fantastic wildlife. So, of course, one of the big changes we've made for 2018 is that we've chartered the elegant Zafiro. This boat was chartered specifically because it is such a luxurious way for you to have a fantastic home base while traveling out into the remote corners of the Peruvian wild. So let's jump in and look at some of the wonderful features of Zafiro. Now, this is the observation deck. And Tara, I know you shared with me that when you first saw Zafiro, this was your favorite place on the riverboat.
Yes, that's right, Emily. And hello, everyone. Thank you again for me for joining us. I know Emily's already thanked you, but I wanted to say thank you too. The Amazon is truly dear to my heart, and I'm glad that you're here to learn about it tonight. And the reason that I really like this area is it's open. You can see the rainforest. You can sit and have a nice cold drink and cool off and cruise along. You might see monkeys in the trees or birds, macaws at the tops of trees, but you also get together with your fellow travelers here and your guides, and you hear stories of the Amazon from your guides, and you get to work on that bucket list of where you want to go next with International Expeditions when you're talking to your fellow travelers and hearing their stories of other travels.
And of course, after you relax on the outdoor lounge after an excursion, if you really want to take up your relaxation to the next level, there is an onboard spa aboard Zafiro that is manned by a wellness specialist. You can have a massage, get aromatherapy, or even just get a nice manicure or pedicure before you head back to the U.S. And of course, for those of you who are very dedicated to your fitness routine, there's a small onboard fitness center so that you can use the treadmill or the stationary bike while enjoying incredible views of the passing rainforest. Hand in hand with the outdoor lounge is the indoor lounge, which, as you can see, features floor-to-ceiling windows so that you don't miss any views. But it's also a fantastic spot to grab a cocktail at the bar. This is where you'll have most of your lectures with your expedition leaders and guides. And it's just a fantastic place to relax and enjoy any siesta or downtime you may have.
And Emily, I think this is sorry to interrupt, but I think this is a great place too to say that when you're enjoying this lounge, that also the local beer and wine and Pisco cocktails are included. So you don't have to worry about that and settling a bar bill at the end because it's all included. So you can just come to the lounge, order what you want, and enjoy yourself.
And of course, you can take that the Pisco sour or your glass of local wine into the dining room with you, where Chef Miguel has really created a menu that pairs traditional dishes that you would find along the Amazon with modern twists. You'll get to sample rainforest fruits and local fish, all with a really delicious modern flair. So now that you've seen some of the public areas, let's jump into looking at the suites. The Zafiro features 19 suites, and the one that's most popular right now is the Zafiro suite. This 480 square foot suite, as you can see, has floor-to-ceiling windows, but that is a 180-degree view that you get to enjoy. Along with your view, you do have a private balcony, a private jacuzzi, and seating outside so that you can enjoy the rainforest. And then inside, you have a private seating area that you can see, as well as private facilities, a writing desk, and a little bit of a wet bar area that you can see in the picture with a mini fridge and a small sink. If you do have older children and you need to make a cabin accommodate 3 people, the sofa that you see actually is convertible into a bed, which is a great option for families. Now, what you'll see across all of the suites on Zafiro are these fabulous woods, wonderful local handicrafts and art, as well as Peruvian cotton linens that are just super comfortable. The suite that you see now is actually one of the upper deck suites. These come in right around 225 square feet, and of course they too feature floor-to-ceiling windows. But what you get on the upper deck is a great private balcony with some private seating that you can take advantage of. Or if you go to the lower deck suites, you have just a little bit more room. You don't have a balcony, but you have a little bit larger cabin. And so these cabins can accommodate triples if you have a child and would like to have them in the cabin with you. And the lower deck suites also have adjoining doors between some of them, which is also ideal for families. Also on the lower deck are 2 master suites. These feature 90-degree views from the bow of the ship and come in right around 250 square feet. Again, like I said, with all of the suites aboard Zafiro, you'll have air conditioning, seating, and private facilities. Now that we've taken just a minute to look at the new Zafiro, Tara, why don't you walk us through what a typical day on IE's Amazon voyage is like?
Oh, I would love to. Thanks, Emily. So early in the morning, there'll be an optional birding excursion. If you don't want to get up early, that's not a problem. You don't have to. You can sleep in. But if you want to get out and enjoy the rainforest at my favorite time, then you can join the guides and you'll go out for a cooler time. The birds are very active and we get a lot of our best sightings early in the morning on the optional birding tours. we return to the boat for a fantastic breakfast full of breads and local fruits and eggs and just about everything you could think of that you would want for breakfast. Then we'll head out again for excursions, and we'll be looking for birds again, but at this point we'll also be looking for sloths and monkeys, maybe some snakes, maybe some local fishermen so that we can see what they've caught for the day. Then we'll return to the boat again for lunch, and we'll have a great selection there at lunch and a fabulous buffet. Then we have a little bit of downtime, so we usually rest for a couple of hours. You can choose to take a nap, read, enjoy the massage room, or go work out in the gym. That's just some time for you. Or you can catch up with one of the guides and chat with them if you have some questions about the day or some of the birds or something that you saw that morning. In the afternoon, we'll head back out. Generally, it is going to be another boating wildlife excursion, but also sometimes in the afternoons we'll visit a village. We'll maybe visit a village with a shaman, and we'll talk to him about how he treats the people in his community, and often they'll treat people from 2 to 3 to 4 villages, depending on how far away they are. We might visit a school and interact with the local school children, which is always a lot of fun. Maybe play a game of soccer with them. Then in the afternoon, we'll return back to the boat. We'll have a little bit of fellowship together there in the lounge area, maybe a lecture by our guide or by our expedition leader, followed by a fantastic meal again. We definitely make sure you're fed well on this trip. And then once or twice throughout the week, we'll do a night excursion where we go out and we look for the nighttime creatures in the Amazon, and maybe just take a little bit of a time to listen to the sounds of the rainforest at night, which are so different from the sounds of the rainforest during the day. Then obviously we return back to the Zafiro and settle into our comfy cabins for a good night's rest and start all over again the next day.
And as you say that, Tara, I'm reminded of something that IE's expedition leader, Dennis, often says. There are no two typical days in the Amazon. Every day is so special and so different. And as someone who has been, I guess, what did we say, about 20 times now and is about to go again in a few weeks, I'm sure you know that very well.
Oh, that is absolutely true. You know, I've had people ask me, do you not get tired of going to the same place every day? And my response to that is I've never been there and not learned something new, or saw a new species, or, met a new village, visited a new village. So every trip is so unique and so different, and everyone is just really an immersive experience that is truly enjoyable.
And one of the great things about traveling in such a small group, again, you're only on board with a maximum of 39 people, and you'll have IE's expedition leader alongside 3 local naturalist guides who work with Zafiro. One of the really great parts of being in a group that small is how much time the guides and the expedition leader can take to get to know your interests and really cater the excursions and what Mother Nature is giving you to work with to meet your interests and what makes you excited. So whether that's spending a little bit of extra time making sure you get a fantastic photograph, making sure you see all the monkeys you could ever possibly want to see, or spending a little extra time kayaking, we really, that's some of the great sort of flexible things that I think is really important and special about international expeditions trip to the Amazon. Now, one of the questions we get a lot is about the excursions. So, Tara, would you mind talking about some of the different activities that you do when you travel with IE?
Absolutely, Emily. One of the excursions we do quite often are boat excursions, and on those excursions we'll explore along the tributaries. We can get deeper into the rainforest on the small excursion boats. As you see there, they're very stable. You can take pictures. They're very comfortable, and it's really nice to be able to get a little closer to the wildlife and deeper into the rainforest from those. You'll have your guide on board who is continuously spotting wildlife and showing you things. And another excursion that we do is hiking in the rainforest. And don't worry, we have rubber boots for you there, so you don't have to worry about getting your shoes muddy. And we'll make sure we have your right sizes on board, and we'll clean those up for you after each hike and get them back to you. And the hikes are really a lot of fun. They can be a little muddy or hilly, but that's okay because we take our time and we go at a slow pace, and we look for things along the trails that you wouldn't see if you didn't get out and walk, such as, you know, different kinds of insects and different kinds of plants and things that you can't see from the riverbank. We also do some other fun things like kayaking, which is a lot of fun. So we kayak along, and again, you're close to the sides, and you kind of have your little personal time there to feel like you are in your own little personal heaven there as you are going along and exploring the sides of the rivers. We also do a really fun excursion that's piranha fishing, and don't worry if you don't want to join in, you don't have to, and the guides definitely will take the piranha off the hook for you, and they will bait your hook. You don't have to do any of that, but it's just a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, and a lot of smiles, and it's a chance to see these wonderful fish. There's so many different species of fish in the Amazon River, and it's really fun to see who all can catch something different. We usually catch different kinds of catfish along with, you know, piranhas and other fish like that. So that's some of the daily excursions you would experience there. But probably one of the ones that is the most popular would be that village visit with the school. And everyone loves to come in and interact with the children and hear them practice their English and then teach us a few words of Spanish. And we usually sing a couple of songs together. And it's just really great to see these children and know that they're learning about the conservation of their home in the rainforest and about clean water. And those are some of the conservation efforts that we also contribute to in these villages that we visit.
So, of course, even though there's a great variety of activities and any outdoor enthusiast will enjoy the Amazon voyage, it's all about the wildlife. Isn't that why most of us, you know, first dreamed of going to the Amazon when we were kids and were flipping through magazines and history books? The Amazon rainforest is home to a third of Earth's species. And of course, with international expeditions, guides and expedition leaders and staff on board, as Tara said, they're always helping you point out wildlife. So here are just a few of the species that you'll see. And I should point out that every picture you see here was actually taken by one of IE's expedition leaders. They're wonderful about sending us photography every week, and Freddie and Angel and Dennis are absolutely some of the best, along with Juan Tejada, who, these are just some of the guys that you'll get to know who are absolutely fantastic. So yes, there are bubblegum pink dolphins in the Amazon River, and you know, it's absolutely amazing to watch even staid, serious people turn into giggling kids trying to get a picture of these incredible pink dolphins. But you also see, I think we're looking at, Tara, please correct me if I'm wrong, but right now on our voyages, people are seeing about 10 to 12 species of monkeys.
Yes, that's correct.
And what I thought was just completely mind-boggling, you know, just even on an average journey, people are seeing about 190 species of bird life. Now, when you look at some of our really serious birders who go on special birding departures or birding heavy trips, they're seeing even more than that. And then, of course, as we talk about the wildlife, this picture makes me smile. Who doesn't love a mom and a baby sloth? I think the sloth is giving us a smile as we pass by in the excursion boats. So, Tara, if you'll just talk us a little bit through some of the departure dates and details. I see many questions coming in. This is a great time. If you have a question you want us to address live, to go ahead and put it in the question box that Lee pointed out on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll start addressing those questions live in just a minute.
Okay, so if you want to join us in the Amazon on the Zafiro, then you can find those dates a couple of places. They're listed here on your screen now, but you can also visit our website at ietravel.com, and they'll give you the 2018 date departures and the 2019 departures and pricing. Pretty much weekly departures or pretty close to weekly departures for both years. And, you know, like Emily said, that Zafiro suite is very popular and it's filling up fast. So if that's something on your bucket list, then give us a call soon about that one. But we would love to have you. And also, if you would prefer to have, you know, something that you can hold and share with friends and family, then, you know, just give us a call and let us know. We'll be glad to send you a brochure, or give us, you know, you can do that from the website as well. Request one of the brochures for the Zafiro.
Now, I should point out, even though every departure has extremely enriching lectures, because of our partnership with the Nature Conservancy, in 2018 we'll have 6 different departures that have an even greater educational component as people who specialize in clean water and conservation and freshwater preservation join different departures throughout the year, just to add an additional element of enrichment and education. And of course, while you're in Peru, why not take advantage of some of the extension options that International Expeditions has? You can travel to Machu Picchu in Cusco. We also offer a canopy walkway that gives you a different perspective of the rainforest, or can make private arrangements in places like Lake Titicaca, or to northern Peru if you really want to delve into some of the archaeology and architecture that you may not be as familiar with as the Inca ruins. You can also spend some extra time in Lima, getting to know the colonial heart of the city, touring some of the churches, and also having some additional time to take advantage of the incredible food scene in Lima. You can tell it's dinner time. I've talked about food about 5 times now. You can also enjoy a sightseeing excursion over the Nazca Lines. So I want to take this time now to start answering some of these questions. Now, I do want to say thank you again for joining us this evening. One of you will be drawn at random to receive an Amazon gift card, and we'll be sending that out to you via email, contacting you about that. So, Tara, I want to dive into some of the questions that we that have come in. People are asking, we mentioned bugs, although we mentioned seeing some of those fun, creepy crawlies, but how big a problem are biting bugs and insects?
Well, it is the rainforest, and they are part of the ecosystem there, so they are around. But, you know, we just say protect yourself with long sleeves, which is also good protection from the sun, and some insect repellent. And, you know, if you're very sensitive to them, you might want to do some mosquito netting or such as that. But really, they don't, they're not so bad that they, you know, hamper the experience of seeing the rainforest. So most people, my husband and I went in December, which was really great. It was his first time to the rainforest, and he only came back with 1 bug bite. And he was just certain he was going to have bug bites all over him. So he was very pleased to find that it wasn't as bad as people had prepared him for.
And of course, we always suggest that you wear long sleeves, long pants. It doesn't look great in photos, but a great tip is to have long cotton socks and tuck the bottoms of your pant legs into those socks to make sure that when you're on village visits, those bugs don't get up under your pant leg to bite you. And of course, as Tara, I think, you know, we've talked about the excursion boats. While those are moving, that wind helps keep the bugs off of you as well.
Absolutely.
Some people have asked about temperature and humidity at different times of the year, and if you could talk about maybe how that may or may not vary with the high water and low water seasons.
Okay. Humidity and temperature are actually fairly consistent year-round. There is a time in June, usually somewhere between June, maybe 15th and 25th, where they have some winds that come through that are coming through from the Patagonia area, the winds of St. John as they speak to it. And it'll be a little cooler then. For us here in the South, you know, we're used to the humidity and the higher temperatures. So I was actually there this year when it was during that cooler time in June, and I actually saw someone in Iquitos with a jacket on, and I was sweating. So, but it is fairly consistent. Humidity is pretty good, and that's why we just say, you know, be sure to stay hydrated. And one of my favorite things to do is when I'm there is I buy a little hand-woven fan there, and it's nice to give you a little cool breeze if you feel like you're getting a little hot. I always drink lots of water, and that fan also helps to keep the insects away, because if you're fanning, they don't come near you.
Tara, a few people have asked if there is internet or an elevator on board.
No, there's not internet or an elevator on board. You need to be able to walk up a couple of flights of stairs unassisted if you're going to join the trip. And there is internet available in the hotel in Lima, but not while you're on board.
Now, I will say that while it's not internet, I had fantastic cell coverage last time that I traveled to the Amazon. So you're not completely out of touch with anyone. I was able to get texts, plenty of phone calls. So information is available to come to you. You're not completely isolated.
That's true, and you can just check with your cell phone service, and they usually can tell you if it will work there in Peru or not. And like Emily, when I go, I usually am able to talk to my family at least twice, maybe 3 times during the week while I'm there.
Someone has asked about our December 22nd departure, and we actually have not spoken very much about it. We do have a little bit of holiday space still available that will be traveling aboard Zafiro. It'll be our same itinerary that we just discussed. The space is very limited. So if you are interested in holiday space, either in the Amazon or maybe some other options we might have available, I would suggest that you go ahead and give us a call this week to learn more about what options there are. Tara, there's always, of course, questions about what kind of vaccinations people might need. Do you need to take anti-malarials? Do you need yellow fever shots? Could you address those questions?
Sure. There's nothing that is required to visit the area. Now, in saying that, there are going to be some things that the CDC does recommend. They do recommend protection for malaria. And of course, pretty much anywhere you travel, they want you to be up to date on your tetanus shots and such as that. But because we are not medical professionals, what we suggest you do is you refer to the CDC information and you go talk to your doctor, your personal doctor, and let him know where you're traveling to. Share the information from the CDC with him and make your own personal choice as to what you feel like you need as far as protection from the different things there in the rainforest. But again, like I said, there's not any requirements to join the trip, so you won't have to show proof of any of the vaccinations or anything like that during your entry into the country.
Now, Tara, you spoke so much about how much you love the village visits. Someone has asked how long we've been visiting the villages, and do we visit the same villages every week?
Well, we've been visiting the villages for the full time that we've been there, so, you know, a little over 38 years. It's so important to us to let the locals understand what an important part their home, the rainforest, plays to the world, and to what a role they have in the conservation of the rainforest. You know, growing up as a kid and you're trying to, you know, maybe raise some green beans or some rice, and this rainforest that grows so quickly, it's taking over your garden. So it's important for those kids to understand, you know, how to interact with the rainforest and survive as they need to. So that's been important to this company from the beginning. So we have been visiting villages and made some really great friendships with a lot of those villages. We don't visit the same villages every week. Now, obviously, there's only so many villages, and so with weekly departures, we may visit a village 5 or 6 times in a year, but generally we do not visit the same village, but maybe once every 2 months.
And just building off of that, you know, one of the things that I'm really thrilled to have had an opportunity to work with International Expeditions are the conservation projects that happen in the Amazon. One of the biggest of those is the Adopt a School program and the Clean Water program. And in the villages that we visit, what International Expeditions partnered with a local NGO to ensure that they had clean water filtration systems in the schools. That's actually one of the things we didn't go in depth into, but you will actually get to see when you're on board Zafiro during the week how one of these filtration systems works. You'll literally scoop a bucket of chocolate milk colored water straight from the Amazon, and over the course of your hour discussion about water projects and the importance of clean water in the Amazon, that water will be filtered through to be clean and drinkable. I still remember several years ago when we first partnered with this, it's a local NGO that works out of Iquitos, and we went on board and we showed some of our expedition leaders how the system worked. And I think you were there too, Tara. You'll remember the first thing they did was raise their hand and said, "Hey, can we actually buy one of these for our own house?" So you really get an opportunity to see the clean water, see conservation, and see what you're contributing as a traveler. So I think we have addressed most of the questions. Someone did ask about the photography, and all of the photography that we featured actually did come from our expedition leaders and was taken during excursions on board our Amazon voyage. There have been several other questions about trips that aren't a 7-night cruise. And if you'll give us a call, we would love to have one of our custom travel planners talk about some of the other options we do offer in the Amazon region if you can't do the full 10-day trip that we covered tonight. So there are a few other questions about more specifics about particular departure dates and availability and things like that. So I'll take this opportunity to let Tara close out our conversation and just let those people know that we'll reach out to you with individual answers to these questions in just a few moments. So I thank you for joining us, and Tara, I'll let you finish our evening.
Okay, thank you, Emily. I just want to say thank you again for joining us, for staying with us through the presentation, for sending us some really great questions so that we could share those answers. I'm sure that if your question wasn't answered tonight, we'll follow up with you post-webinar and get you some of those answers. Thank you so much for considering International Expeditions for your Peruvian Amazon voyage experience. We look forward to welcoming you to Peru, and we are here to help you plan and make sure that you get the most out of your experience. So thank you, and give us a call. Again, our website is ietravel.com. You can reach us at nature@ietravel.com, or you can reach us at 800-633-4734. Thank you all, and have a good evening.
And this will conclude our webinar. Good night, everyone.